Okay, good morning. It's kind of a almost overcast day, but very little rain is in the forecast for me. So I figured I'd go out. But before I did, I'm not sure what the working title of this video is going to be. You know that I've got the Pro Angler, Hobie Pro Angler 14. And you know that I'm running a Lowrance Hook2 9 triple shot. Okay, and you know the Hobie's got the through-hole wiring kits, and basically this is the battery that I've chosen to use for now. And I just store it up under here is where the wires are going down. Maybe eventually I'll go back to the round hatch in the back and do it like a double battery mount setup back there. I've seen plates for that. By the way, that box and the top will be on a future video. Anyways, so long and the short of it is, you see the WD40 can. Let me come around here. So when I initially installed my Lowrance, you look in the back there. That's a typical Lowrance plug setup. This is the transducer, and this is the power supply. Okay, and these are the wires for it, that both the power supply and the transducer. Now, at one time, they were just like resting here in the bed, or in the bottom of the boat like this, in the kayak. And what I noticed was that I can get 2 days out of that battery. Okay, it's not the strongest battery in the world, but it is usable. Okay, and it's cheap. It's like 25 bucks, something like that, at Home Depot. It's the 9-volt battery for the emergency lights. You know, when the powers go off and there's the spotlights that you can see yourself in and out. It's a 12-volt, 7.2 amp hour battery. Okay, and it's rechargeable, and it's designed, that it stays on a trickle charger while it's, while the lights are on, and then when the lights go off, it kicks in. So I was just leaving it underneath where that pad is, right up there against the bottom. And one day I came out, and the end of that cable, the power supply, was kind of corroded over. And I worked on it and cleaned it up with a toothbrush, and cleaned that up with a toothbrush, and it seemed to work fine. Okay, so the other day it was still kind of sketchy, and I was talking to a guy out on the boat ramp, and he told me to just spray some WD-40 on it, and it would act as a dielectric, and it would keep it from corroding. Well, the problem with it is, I did that, and what it did, long and the short of it is, now the working title is probably going to be something like "Did WD-40 kill my Lowrance?" Okay, the short answer is no. What was happening is, when I plugged the power supply cord in, there was so much pressure inside. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. That I would plug it in, and it would pop itself right back out, way out, like back out here. Okay, so then you put this one in, and it's it'll go in there. It's not the easiest thing in the world to plug these things in, but they're a friction mount. Okay, and they're sealed. Okay, but they're in there. Kayak, water coming over the top. So anyways, what was happening is it continued to push itself out, and it wouldn't be plugged in far enough to allow the prongs inside to stay connected into the power supply. So I was out in the water, and I was frustrated. I almost unbolted this whole thing and just chucked it right in the river. Okay, I mean, I was that frustrated. Now this is, several $100 unit. And I'm serious, I was ready to chuck the whole thing in the river. It wouldn't work. I want it to work, not so much for finding fish, but so that I'm not beating the crap out of my fins and my transducer on oyster beds. That's really what I intended to use it for. So a guy came up to me, he goes, oh, I'm a guide, I install Lowrances on all our tour boats all the time, and Lowrance's power supply sucks, their wire sucks, it's always a wire, you need to go buy yourself another wire. Okay, I'm like, all right, well, that sounds about right, because at the time, if I jammed it in there and held it there, it would power up, and you know, as soon as I let it go, air pressure that was built up inside there would pop it back out. Okay, and I felt that maybe the WD40 had made it too slick and wouldn't allow it to seat, but this one had WD40 on it also. Okay, so did WD40 kill my Lowrance? Absolutely not. Stupidity and listening to people that don't know what they're talking about just about killed my Lowrance. So WD40, you know, you're wrongly accused. No, good product, always has been, always will be, when used as intended. You don't even, you know, you don't take a teaspoon of it when you got a sinus cold. You just use it the right way. So I go down to Bass Pro Shop and I'm talking to the guy about it because I want to buy the cord and they don't have any cords, and he says, oh, that's a warranty claim. And when I called Lowrance, I'd be demanding that they send me 2 power supplies because it's going to happen continually. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He goes, oh, when you leave it plugged in and it's not plugged into the power unit and you've got it plugged into the battery, it just smokes the wires internally. I'm like, really? He goes, oh yeah, just prize them out. They're useless. I'm like, okay. And this is exactly what this tour guide was saying. So here I am thinking that I bought a marginal product, and I go home and I'm messing around with it. I take this power supply off, the lead, I swab the inside with alcohol, I clean it all out, I clean both of them, I clean this, the transponder connection, I clean the power supply, and I push it in and it shoves it out. Push it in, it shoves it out. And the guy at Bass Pro Shops went so far as to tell me, hey, you know, you probably ought to drill a little hole in the side of it to let pressure out. I'm like, what? So I'm sitting here looking at the thing, cleaning it, really getting frustrated. And I started looking around, and right there, you can see that indention right there. Come in focus. That is where that O-ring goes. In my humble yet accurate opinion, squirting WD-40 on that O-ring caused it to swell up enough that it created such a positive seal that when I shoved it in, that it was pushing air inside, causing it to not allow any of the air to come back out and shoving the entire power supply back out. So now let's go over this again. 2 people had told me that the wire itself is smoked because I left it hanging inside the boat attached to the battery. Now I would agree, because based on the green stuff that's on the end of the cable, probably not a good idea, and I don't do it anymore. Okay, I didn't know any better. You don't know what you don't know until you know what you don't know. So plugged it in, hooked it up, you know, just plugged it in a little bit, and as soon as I hit the power button, boom, it lights up and it stays lit up. So my whole point in telling people, you know, did WD-40 kill my Lowrance, was to get you to listen to the message that I'm trying to tell you. Is don't listen to people that aren't experts. Don't listen to urban legend. Don't listen to people that have absolutely not one clue about what they're talking about. Even salesmen that are trying to sell you something, do your research. Okay? So now, while this doesn't have the seal on it of this O-ring, okay, that little bitty O-ring, it is powered up. It is sealed pretty well. Okay? It does power up. I can use the unit, and I can go down to like Ace Hardware or whatever and find a similar O-ring that'll fit that. Okay, maybe a couple of them, and replace the O-ring and get on about my business. So please use this as a lesson. before you start replacing power cords, before you start blaming, you know, Lowrance for having crappy wiring. Granted, the twist lock connections would probably be a lot better instead of these friction stays, but it is what it is. I bought it this way. I mean, I bought it not knowing any better, but I did buy it this way. And so it's not like they misled me in any way. It's not like they have inferior wiring, like I was told. That in fact, it's far from inferior. It's very, very rugged, very good wiring. So if you guys are having problems with the power supply not making connection or coming in for just a little bit and then popping back out, it's the O-ring. Okay, it's the O-ring. Just either maybe get one from Lowrance if they'll send one to you or sell it to you, but I assure you this, it's not a warranty claim. It's not something that they've done. It's not something that Bass Pro Shops did. It's something that I did. It's not something that WD40 did. So in this litigious society that we live in, where everybody is to blame, every manufacturer, here's the simple facts. I shouldn't have used WD-40 because it reacted with the latex or the rubber or whatever this O-ring is made out of and made it swell up, and it was no longer the right size to fit in there and provide a seal, but it's small enough to allow the air that's being compressed to escape past it and remain locked in. So there's your lesson for today. Loving the Hook2. The 9-inch screen is just the bomb diddly, and I'm gonna get out here and see if I can catch some. Thanks for watching, and I would hope that you would either like and share or subscribe, like and share. If there's something that you'd like me to go over on the channel, I'd be more than willing to do it. But again, no, WD-40 did not kill my Lowrance. Thanks.